Greetings, Brian Keeler here, doing a special video here on drawing the human figure. It's sort of the essence of painting, and shows the thinking and the conceptual ideas behind paintings. I'm going to turn the music down just a little bit. That's my group Xenology playing there. And I just went to a wonderful exhibit of Michelangelo's drawings at the Metropolitan Museum in New York, which inspired me further to continue drawing. And like I said, drawing is really the underpinning of painting, and it shows us viewers the artist's conceptual thinking and how he develops his ideas. These are more finished drawings, but that idea that I was just explaining about the ideas are more so visible in sketches, where you can see the creation and the ideas working. This particular drawing that I'm working on fits in with a theme that we're having here at the North Star Gallery in Ithaca about mythology. And this drawing is based on a statue in the Louve Museum. I've been there several times, but I didn't happen to see this one of Prometheus there. But next time I go back to the Louvre, I'm going to look for it because it's just a spectacular statue in marble. And I have a couple other videos on my YouTube site about drawing from statues, which I've done many times. And but it's often better to work from a marble statue because they're white and you can really see the subtleties and nuances from working from a marble statue as opposed to a bronze statue or other types of statues, because the clarity of the white marble makes it easier for us artists. But copying from statues is very creative because we can choose any point of view we want, any type of lighting. So it's a little more liberating than copying paintings, which many painters have done. And one in particular is by Peter Paul Rubens. He did these copies of a Leonardo da Vinci drawing that was scheduled to be in the hall of the Cinquecento in Florence, but it was eventually lost. But the point that I'm making is that artists have copied other artists to learn from, and by attaching themselves to the beauty and the genius of artists that have come before them. So that's sort of the idea here. And I'm doing this male figure, Prometheus, and if you look down here, I've also done another painting, another version. I've done several versions of this Promethean theme, and this one is a nocturne. I have a separate YouTube video on this particular painting, but it just shows that there's many opportunities to interpret the same theme. But let's come up here to this drawing and I'll show you what I'm doing. But I'm just going to show you my tools here first. It's very simple. I have three carbon pencils, hard, medium, and soft, an X-Acto knife to sharpen them, a white piece of pastel, and a white pencil. And the last thing here is a stump that I use for blending. I use one end for the dark and one end for the light. So this is kind of a light charcoal paper, and I'm putting these strokes on to leave the effects of the strokes here. And just like when I was looking at Michelangelo's drawings, his strokes would go with the form as if he were sculpting. I think of each one of these strokes that I'm making as a chisel mark that goes with the form here. And then at a certain point, I've already done this a couple of times, I'll blend it with the stump, the white side of the stump. So what this does is puts a kind of a bass tone down, and then then you can go on top of it to develop the highlights here. He has a beard here, so I've left the beard kind of the color of the paper. Not really a beard, but sideburns or mutton chops on this Prometheus figure. And then at certain points, I'll take the kneaded eraser and soften the transition. That's sort of the key, is to get these transitions gradual and soft. The whole thing can be thought of as a series of transitions from light to mid-tone, back to light, mid-tone. And then I've explained in my other videos about this core of the shadow, and that's what's happening right here. We go light, mid-tone, core of the shadow, then back to reflected light on this side. And as I said, the marble really helps to bring that out. Okay, so I think that's pretty much that I'm going to do for this one. Now we're going to move over to this one. And this one was done from models that I had in Tuscany. I've been teaching in Italy for many years, and I have these wonderful models that pose along the Tyrrhenian Sea, which is part of the Mediterranean, the upper part of the Tyrrhenian, at the coastal town of Vernazza. It's one of the Cinque Terre. And I called this painting, I'll show you the painting in a minute, but this is the preliminary drawing of sirens that's meant to be from Ulysses' ship. And I've just started to sketch the ship in over here, and seagulls to show that it's along the coast. And it was really beautiful poses, and I just like the poses. And so right now I'm just going to, this is the eye level right here. This is a very important part of any painting, where you have this eye level, and at the eye level is where this is the ocean, where the sky meets the ocean, and then clouds are going to be developed up in this area, and these ships will be right in here, these ships of Ulysses. I also like to think about the narrative and kind of reinvent the narrative sometimes. I don't always like the narrative that goes along with them, of sirens being sort of an evil force to bring sailors to their ruin, and sometimes I'll imagine more positive narratives rather than the ones that go along with them. So that will be the next stage here, is developing these clouds as they go up. And I have these seagulls to suggest. But this painting, this drawing was actually done after the fact. That usually preliminary drawings are done preliminary or before. But this is the painting down here. If you look down here, this is my painting of the same theme, the same models, same poses. And it shows this these cliff sides at Vernazza in Italy. And I just love this area. It has a very timeless quality. It looks like it could in 500 BC when Ulysses supposedly sailed there on his way back to Ithaca. And I have these seagulls that I've included to augment the scene. And of course, my characteristic clouds that I've invented, these seaside clouds. So maybe I'll just do a little bit of work on this drawing here. If you'd come up here, I'll show you this seagull that I put down here. This is one of the last things that I've drawn here. And at this stage, come in close, I've just done one layer with the white pastel, and kind of developing the roundness or the sculptural quality by developing highlights. And then I'll go in with the stump and solidify the tone. It's when I worked with or when I work in pastel, it's the idea of sort of leaving the brush strokes. It's a sort of an ongoing debate of when to blend and when not to blend. But lately I've been blending, and then going on top of it to show the process of the paint, of the application. And then we can sort of develop these highlights at various places. It's a wonderful bit of light here coming through from the model's hair onto her shoulder. There. So I did this, as I said, I did this drawing afterwards just because I wanted to explore it in terms of value and drawing as opposed to painting. Okay, so I think that's about it. So this is my video installment on drawing the human figure, the male figure, the female figure, and how they relate to my paintings, in this case Prometheus and sirens along the Tyrrhenian Sea. So look at the North Star Gallery website. You can see all the paintings in these particular shows. There's going to be one on the nude next month, and it's northstarartgallery.com, and it has the sizes and dimensions and even the prices in case you're interested in purchasing one. So once again, thanks so much, and I'll see you around sometime.